Hello, welcome to Making Mead with Mel. Say hi, Mel.
Hi, Mel.
Oh, lovely. Okay, we're in lockdown, so I've been wanting to make some mead for a while. This is my lockdown project number 4. So we are going to make some mead. And I know what some of you might be thinking, that I have no credibility because I don't look like a Viking and I don't even have a beard. Well, I'm here today to prove that you don't need either of those things to make a delicious honey alcoholic beverage. Today we're actually going to be making Joe's Ancient Orange Mead, which is a very simple beginner's mead. I've never made this before and I've never done a mead before. I've done a few beers but not mead, so it'll be interesting to see how we go with it all. So thank you to Joe for posting the recipe, which I actually got off the Australian Craft Beer Forum. So thank you for posting that recipe up there. So the first thing to do is I need to sterilise all my equipment. So I'm going to go ahead now and do that, but we probably won't show that because it's pretty boring just cleaning. So let's get clean and sterile. Okay, so everything's now sterile and clean, including my pots and everything. So the first thing that Joe says to do in the recipe is to dissolve your honey in a little bit of warm water. So I picked up 1.5 kilos of honey a week or so ago up at the markets, and this is a organic ironbark honey. So we're going to put that in first. Ooh, look at that. Yummy, yummy. You'll notice I actually got this on the scale. Well, you might not notice, but I've got this on the scale because if you read Joe's recipe, which I thoroughly encourage you to do, he's very specific about the amount of honey. 1.6 kilos is the recipe. Oh, look at that. That's a lot of honey. So in order to get up to the required 1.6, I'm actually adding a little bit of shop bought Beechworth honey. Oh, look at that. There you go, Joe. 1.6 kilos exactly. Thank you. Okay, so I previously just boiled up some tap water and it's still quite hot, but I'm going to add a little bit slowly into the honey to see if we can get the honey to dissolve. Yes, I think that's dissolving. Dun, 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 dun. Stir it honey. I would probably say that's about dissolved enough to go into the carboy. Well, we've just discovered that there's a little bit of an issue, which is not unexpected. The demijohn, or carboy that I've got, is an American gallon, and I believe all the other measurements were metric, and therefore this is too small to go with the original recipe. However, I'm going to persevere and I'm just going to go with it and fill it up to whatever I think, because I've already dissolved my honey. So we're going to pour the dissolved honey through a sterilised funnel into the too small jar. Let's hope I don't spill it. Perfect, there you go. So now we're going to add the flavourings and the other ingredients, and obviously since this is Joe's ancient orange recipe. He calls for 1 large orange, but I've got 2 small oranges which came off the tree yesterday. Organic and should be delicious. And so orange goes in, pith and all, everything just goes through the top. Flavour. Cinnamon stick, and you know, as Joe says, it's brown, it's wood, it's good. Cloves. I had to buy a big bag. The recipe calls for 1, maybe 2 if you like them. I like them. I'm going for 2. 2 cloves. Raisins. The recipe calls for a handful, or 25 if you could be bothered to count. Raisins go in. And that's it. Okay, so once all that fruit is in there, we are now going to fill the jug up with cold water, or slightly warm water, because this was boiled water, because I'm trying to get rid of any chlorine out of the camera tap water. Now we can always add a little bit more water to the volume after the fermentation's taken place, but you need to leave enough room in there for the foam and the initial fermentation. And so then what you have to do is, I'll just re-sterilise my bung and my fingers. Bung the bung in the top. And because the bung has a hole, hold it down with my thumb, because what we're doing now is we're going to oxidate or shake it. Okay, shaken up and ready. Now this next step is not 100% necessary, and I'm going to measure the gravity just so I can find out what alcohol reading we get at the end. Okay, I've never seen that happen before in my ear, but my hydrometer is not able to measure that. It's off the scale. 1.12. Okay, and the next step is the most important one, and the last one is to get the magic yeasty beasties into the jar. Now, the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon. Now, this is just normal bread yeast, and again, the recipe just calls for that. You know, just bought it down the supermarket yesterday, so it's fresh. You don't need any of those fancy yeasts and anything that you do if you're making more complicated brews. The bung in, and just give it a swirl to let the yeast start to mix in and do its thing.